Apologize, Craig. You did tell me very clearly that you need a couple of minutes warning. I apologize.
Yeah, Bob Gardner's gonna drop off.
Hey, Bob, you holding up? Okay, here we go.
Very heavy.
And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we had a prayer before the meal, but Reverend Earl, if you would just remind the good Lord that we're here today.
Heavenly Father, thank you again for this day. Thank you for friends. Pray that you be with us now in this meeting time, Lord. Help us accomplish something worthwhile. And just keep your hand upon us. Guide us this day. We ask it in your name. Amen.
Amen. And before you sit, I would ask also a moment of silence for a couple of our members and associates who are unwell. You guys know that Dave Morrison is not as fit as we would like him to be in the high desert. He's a past president of the Inland Empire chapter and has been a foundation for our organization up there for some time. Also, many of the people in this room are friends and associates with Leslie Ramos, the agent who owns Always Just for Fun. I learned this week that Leslie has a very serious personal illness, and we wish her the best. So, moment of silence for those. Does anybody else know of any that we have not heard of? Any other friends or associates or members that may be suffering right now? Okay, then, a moment of silence for those two. Okay, thank you guys. And as always, if you hear about anybody, not just members and associates, but just friends and supporters, let us know. Tell the Sunshine Secretary, and we can get them a card out, and we can get some love headed their way. Prayers and communications. Okay, before we do anything else, we want to thank our luau hosts today, Debbie and Scott England, and you notice I said that in the right order this time. Debbie and Santa Scott England. There we go. Thank you guys very much. And Debbie is also the Orange County Events Committee Chairman, and she can always use some suggestions for venues during the year. We have to schedule 11 meetings a year, actually 10 we sometimes have one in November. So we usually have 10 meetings a year. 3 of those, it seems, have been at the Elks Lodge for the last few years, and they're some of our best attended events as well. So we thank all of the people that we interface with over at the Elks Lodge, and particularly the exalted leader retired that we have in our midst, Santa Nelly. Thank you guys for everything you do for us over at the Elks Lodge. We love you guys so much. Okay, I don't have a sign-in sheet. I will remind you, of course, that, thank you very much. I will remind you that Diva is circulating with the raffle basket. We have some decent prizes today. Dr. Santa has Richard Eckfield, who will be giving our lecture later in the new business section. We usually have a training session in the Orange County chapter. We try to. That's a new thing that we've started this year. And our training session this year we have turned over to Dr. Richard Eckfield, who will give a demonstration later. And he brought these 2 lovely vegetable baskets that he will be presenting to anyone who joins his program by weighing in today. Everyone who weighs in will be in a separate raffle for one of these delicious baskets, and there is even a gourmet squash of an uso?
No, upo.
An upo squash here today. Okay, so I'll turn the mic over to him later, and he will explain all that to you. I won't even wait for the sign-in sheet. Okay, first of all, has everybody here signed in and paid their luau cover fee? Everybody? Anybody still need to? Debbie and Scott will be more than happy to help you with that. And Lori, of course, will be happy to take some money for you and put your name on a piece of paper. And everybody here has their name on the sign-in sheet because we like to remember you in the archives as well. Yes, Craig.
Due to a secretary error, there is no sign-in today. We have the sheet.
Excellent. So even when you stumble, your friends won't let you fall. So we are covered today. Is there anybody here for the first time today who's never Would you like to introduce yourself? This is a big giant of a man right here, and I happen to know he and his wife have great taste in furniture as well.
Rich Beatty, I work for Fullerton.
These are personal friends of Diva, and they came anyway. After meeting and getting to know us, they decided that they would like to see... Go ahead, Bob.
Didn't hear the name.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Richard Beatty, Rich Beatty, and Gail Knight. Rich Beatty.
Beatty, B-E-A-T-T-Y.
That's
Thank you. Spelled it for the archives.
Gail Knight.
Gail Knight.
Like a knight in shining armor.
So it's Gail and Rich. It's kind of like Big and Rich, only they're more talented. Okay, so Gail and Rich are our guests today. Is there anybody else here for the first time, or did anybody else bring a guest with them today? Go ahead.
Carlos.
Carlos joined us, as you guys probably remember. Carlos helped save our tailgate party last month in July, so we appreciate his participation as well. Okay, I saw Nellie right. I thought he needed my attention. Okay. We have distributed the July minutes with the broadcast that went out yesterday. I hope everybody in the room got the broadcast that went out yesterday. If you didn't, it means that we still don't have you on our mailing list, and it is our default method of communication with the members in the other chapters in Southern California. So, if you didn't get a broadcast from me today, over the next couple of days, over the last couple of days, get with me so I can make sure I have your email address, and we'll add it to the list. Bob also sends out invitations to the chapter members. The ones that come from me will say, well, anyway, I have a lot more graphics in mine. That's my weakness. I put a lot more graphics in mine. Okay, the minutes were distributed. I will assume that all the members have had time to review them. Bob?
I move that we accept the minutes as distributed.
It's been moved that the minutes be accepted as distributed.
I second it.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
For the archives, there is a single nay. Okay. The minutes are accepted as distributed. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Okay, we'll bring Debbie England back up again. She is our hostess today. We owe her a special round for that, but she's also our activities chair. And she will give us a brief overview of the few remaining... Okay, that's all right. Just off the top of your head, sweetie. And you guys watch the broadcast.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I appreciate that. We do, in September, have a Quartermania. If you haven't heard of a Quartermania, touch bases with Bob, Gretchen, Diva, me, Dottie, one of us, and we'll tell you what it's about. It's September 28th, and it's a lot of fun. It's like an auction type thing. So we're hoping all the Santas will come because it's for the outreach for children to give to the children that the parents can't afford gifts. Katie, you told me about Quakes.
August 26th, right, Kevin?
Yeah, August 26th.
Is the recycle night at the Quakes. You bring 10 plastic bottles or 10 cans, and you get them free. Right?
So keep that in mind. And I don't remember what else.
I'm not singing then, but don't make it your reason for not going. I'm just saying.
She will be singing, but in the stands.
September, the Irwin family is going to set up the lunch for our chapter at the Mimi's Cafe down in Lake Forest, off of Lake Forest and Maryland's area.
What cafe?
Mimi's Cafe.
Mimi's in Lake
I'm not sure that we have a date yet. A broadcast will go out. What is this? We do it on the third
weekend.
Third Saturday?
Third Saturday as a general rule, if
Saturday,
possible,
So I don't
yeah.
know what that date is right here in front of me, sorry. But plan it for your third Saturday in September. That's not a mix-up with the Quartermania, correct?
No.
Okay, so let's plan for third Saturday in September, Mimi's Cafe in Lake Forest.
Is that the one we met at the other night?
No.
Okay,
That's the
good.
one that's
Okay.
next to
Okay.
Our 20th, Saturday the 20th of September.
Thank you to someone with an internet connection.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, Debbie. I appreciate that.
What date is this Quartermania?
28th.
Yes, the 28th. And this will be...
But it's
This will technically be the second Forbes Quartermania, although there wasn't a Quartermania last month. It was the annual memorial event that the Runkey family has in memory of Santa Wayne Runkey every year. This year they decided to combine his favorite charity was the Make-A-Wish Foundation, so every year the Runkey family sponsors a fundraiser for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and this year they decided to combine it with our most successful fundraiser ever, the Quartermania. So there was a second Quartermania this year, and there will be a third next month in September. Quartermania has turned out to be just a barrel full of fun. I didn't know what to expect the first time we had it. I didn't know exactly how to promote it, so all I sent out was some links to some of the sites that already had videos. As it happened, the first Quartermania, we had 7 Santas show up with their missus. It was a great time. There were a total of about 30, 40 people in the crowd, and we had a great time. We raised a good deal of money, and we have even banked quite a bit of it, and we're hoping that we'll get the rest of it shortly. But anyway, this is an opportunity to support the fraternity, the Quartermania in September. Yes, Cookie?
Point of clarification?
Yes?
Okay, there is still a Make-A-Wish event. That's the annual one in November. It's the weekend after. November 1st. Thank you. It's going to also be at the Elks Lodge, which is the typical party, the costume party, and the games, and the children activities.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. So there's still going to be the Make-A-Wish Carnival fundraiser in November, did you say?
Yeah,
October?
November 1st.
Okay.
This technically was going to be a front money fundraiser that was going to put on the next
Help
party.
fund us? Okay.
But all the proceeds, which roughly $500 was profited from that Quartermania, which is on its way. I've just collected the last funds, so that will be on its way in the mail on Monday.
All right, so it was a fundraiser to help prime the pump for the actual carnival later in the year. Okay, that's excellent. Great. Listen, I don't mind remembering Santa Wayne Runkey twice in the same year. I guarantee you, that was a fun Santa right there. He was a member of 3 of the chapters, and when he passed, the board had just given him permission to help found a Los Angeles chapter. So he would have soon been members and officer of 4 different chapters. So we have the activities. We have Kathy Perron, I see, is here. So Kathy, would you like to come up and say a couple of things about the upcoming events for the Inland Empire chapter? Kathy is the, hey, show some love, huh? We do encourage cross-pollination in the chapters.
No, she can't work for you guys, no.
Thank you, Senator. Okay, I'm kind of
We have
I'm not a
no
good
audio over
microphone person, so I hope everybody can hear me.
Here, fine.
Our next meeting is going to be September 13th in Ontario at Coco's on Mills Circle over by Ontario Mills in the banquet room at 1 o'clock. And Senator Dan Keeney's already done the flyer, and it should be going out to everybody. So I hope you'll come, and we'll have a nice meeting there. For October, we don't know yet. We had talked about November because the Inland Empire's tradition of going to Tom's Farms is always the first weekend in November. So maybe we can do the meeting on November 2nd, so it doesn't conflict with the Make-A-Wish event in Orange County. So we'll work on that. So it's all doable. So yeah, that's it. That's the story. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you, Kathy. I see that we have some San Diego chapter representatives up here. I'll tell you what, I'll just hand the microphone over to Santa Joe Mystic, and he can tell you what's coming up for the San Diego chapter.
Well, the San Diego chapter is voting on adopting a nickname for the San Diego chapter called the Lethargic Santas, because we're not doing anything. Well, that's going to be, well, that's not coming up. That's over.
No, but you did it.
Yes, we did. And that, I believe,
He's right over there.
Right here.
oh, are you going to be talking about the over the line? Oh, you're not? Oh, I saw the picture, so I thought you were.
I brought them, but it's limited to 20 minutes.
Well, we had,
Oh, sorry.
well, there we
That
go.
was me.
Well, we had some of our Santas, join the Over the Line tournament. But I don't have all that information. You played, why don't you tell them you got the shirt?
We'll go with one speaker for now.
Sure. Over the Line is a beach baseball game that was invented 61 years ago in San Diego. This was the 61st annual Over the Line tournament. 1,200 teams. The team is three people. It's men and women. They're divided into divisions real quickly. It doesn't monopolize this thing, take away from my other time here. But it's men's open and women's open. That's where the young people are. Then men's century and women's century. That's three people over 30 whose total age adds up to more than 100. And then you start getting into the flavor of Over the Line, which is a bit naughty. Because the 40-year-olds is the men's canardlies, and the women's are the women's can-always. And then, you're maybe getting the drift here a little bit, then the 60-year-old is the men's can-nevers, and the 60-year-old women is the women's can-easies. Now, the women stop there, but the men's go on to the division we played in, because we had a young Glenn Bailey, who was only 68, so that put us in the men's cadavers. The other two of us, myself being 73, we could have, if we got rid of Glenn, which we will next year, we would have been in the men's camummies. Now, it's you had to lose twice to be eliminated. We were beat twice. I can tell you at least one of the names. I think it's reasonably appropriate. It was the three Johnsons from the Pendant. Now the Pendant Bar is a bar that the old Mission Beach Athletic Club is headquartered at. The other one, I could probably tell you that one. I can't tell you the ones we beat. I told a couple of the other people before, and they
burn your ears.
They grimaced, yes. And Joe, when we made this report, the thing said he would never take his church group to it. But the other group that beat us is the Let Go of Her Ears She's Doing. I can tell you the one fun thing. There's a lot of, it's not promiscuous. It's fun naughtiness. Body naughtiness. Body naughty. Yeah, that rhymes. There's several places where they have things where the ladies, like in New Orleans, you show your memories, and they give you some beads. So they have several places where they say, show me your breasts, and you get a free beer, which was great because two of my team members went and showed them their breasts and got a beer. That's supposed to be funny.
The memories, yeah, he showed them their memories.
The memories, yeah, okay. Anyway, we had a lot of fun. We were a huge sensation. The team was the Santas United in the War on Childhood Obesity, and we got a lot of press from that. I'll be talking about that. Fox News even picked it up, and I was on live last Monday, 2 different morning show segments, all about what we were trying to do, which is what I'm going to talk to you about, what we're trying to do, and encourage you all to join the effort. That's pretty much it.
All right, thank you, Richard. I'll tell you what, we're going to just do a quick change here and shift you to the new business section. I'll handle the reunion and we'll put you in the old business. If you're ready, you can go ahead and begin your presentation right now, my brother.
Okay.
This is Santa Dr. Richard Eckfield, and he will explain his new program.
Okay, and I was told, I'm wearing 2 watches because this one's a stopwatch, and I was told by
Stop it.
I was told by Brother Rick here that I have 20 minutes, so I'm rolling. Carlos, quick. Rick, did you?
We're in trouble.
Is there someone else that can help Carlos? Carlos, take that around to everybody. Is there one other? Take that to everybody.
You?
And I will take these 2.
Miss Shar's got it, I guess.
Another
Miss Megan.
Miss Megan, would you give one of those to everybody? And I'll give one of these to everybody. You should end up with 4 pieces of paper. And I'll talk as I pass. The normal presentation takes 2 hours. This will not take 2 hours. I've guaranteed Rick that I will get it done in 20 minutes, which is going to be quite a task. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, 7, good. You go.
Did I get this one?
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Keep talking, Sam.
You can't talk and do this at the same time.
You're a princess, thank you. Okay,
Pass it down. Pass it down.
okay. Now what do I do with my mic?
Pass it down.
Did you, everyone get it? Huh? Okay.
We already got one?
Yeah.
We already got one.
Okay, I guess, am I recording here, Mr.? Okay, very good. Okay, like I say, this normally is a 2-hour session with the help of Ed Taylor, who was at the last presentation, and Ed Taylor was kind enough to let me also use his webinar to make this presentation to all of the people who actually paid to be on his webinar. So my wife and I are trying to figure out how many Santas we've done, either the whole thing or pieces of the thing too, and we've come up with about 300 Santas. If that's the case, then I only have about 4,000 Santas to go if I want to try to get to the real bearded Santas. Now, I am using the fact that the Santas do have clubs and they do have meetings, and so I try to intercept those meetings just like I did this one. And last Saturday I was at the Brea with the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas, and Santa Earl, wherever he went, was one of the people there. The San Diego Santas have heard this before, so I don't apologize. It's like a good book. It's something you go over and read again. The first thing, and we're not going to go over it, I'm just going to stipulate, you have them, read them. I'm only going to point out 2 things on that discussion outline. The first one, and a very important one, is this is not about the Santas losing weight. This is not about the Santas losing weight. It is about trying to get the Santas to nurture their nature. Santas, by definition, big or small, all care about kids. And we do have a childhood overweight and obesity crisis in America. You can debate all you want whether President Obama was born in Kenya or Hawaii. You can debate all you want whether global warming is man-made or not man-made. There's a million things that the data lines up this way or but the fact that the United States has a childhood overweight and obesity problem is a fact. And the other thing on that page, and I call your attention to the bottom line where it talks about, well, it's the word where the word patriotism is there. If another country, China, Russia, Cambodia, I don't care, Ethiopia, was doing to our children what the fast food and the processed food industry is doing to our children, you would want to go to war with them. It is an atrocity. Now, I'm not going to get into name-calling the McDonald's and the Monsantos and things like that. The fact of the matter is that if another country was doing to our kids what the fast food and the processed food and the soda, etc. industry is doing, you would want to go to war with them. That's all there is that I'm going to say about number 1. I'm going to go right to number 2. And I'm going to point out that this 3-page thing is yours to read. I'm not going to recite the statistics. In the 2-hour session, I do it. But the fact is that the statistics are there. Do you not have the... Carlos? Somebody didn't get the 2-pager around. Anyway, it says, it's titled Why All Real Santas Should Care About America's Overweight and Obesity Problem in General and the Obesity Problem of Children in Particular. If you don't have it, the piece of paper on your table is for you to write down your questions so I can roll this thing out and then I'll handle any questions that you have at the end. It's all self-explanatory. There it is. The next one we're going to spend a little bit of time on, and that's the one it says, Santa Training Food Rule, beware of the sugars. Okay, the daily recommended allowance of sugars is 6 teaspoons. This, in my hand, is 6 teaspoons. It's a devil to try to super glue these things together, and they keep falling apart, so now I have swizzle sticks and everything else trying to structurally hold it up. But this is, Carlos, can I get you to come here? Because I need 2 hands. So they're recording me, so you got to keep that, just stand over here and just hold this by my mouth. There you go. Okay, this is the daily recommended allowance. This is a 20-ounce Coke. If you read the 20-ounce Coke, this is 16 grams. There's 4 grams per teaspoon, so you divide 4 into 16. Wait a minute. No, this is 24. This is 24 grams. Right. This is 24 grams. If you divide that by 4, that's how you get the 6 teaspoons. Okay. This Coke, this one Coke, has 65 grams in it. 16¼ teaspoons. Remember, this is the normal daily allowance for an adult for the whole day. This is what you get in one Coke. Again, I usually spend a lot more time on this, but you see all those figures there. There's an error in your Red Bull thing. It says Red Bull, I forget what it says on yours, but it should say Red Bull is 27 grams. That's correct, but that's 16.75 teaspoons, and I have that as an error on yours, which exceeds, one little can, exceeds the daily allowance, etc. I'll skip the, yeah, wow. I'll skip the whichever one that is, and go right to the Monsterade. Monsterade, 54 grams, that's 13½ teaspoons of sugar. Now here's the one that always gets them. Orange juice. Orange juice is as bad as Coca-Cola. Now you watch the television and they say, oh, a sugar is a sugar. A carb is a carb. A calorie is a calorie. And that television, it drives my wife nuts. The television has this bottle from Florida, and these oranges keep hopping into it, etc. Each one of those has natural sugar, but natural sugar is sugar. This is cane sugar or beet sugar, one or the other. It's natural too. But this liter, now empty fortunately because I couldn't lift it up, this liter has, where is it? 168 grams, which is 33½ teaspoons, and it tells you right on there the serving size of this thing is, there's 7 serving sizes, which gives you 24 ounces, which gives you, in a little tiny serving size, gives you 5/6 of the daily recommended allowance. Now usually, at this point in time, I make the audience go through trying to figure out what the daily value is. Daily value is something, here Carlos, go ahead and put it down. And take one of these to each table. Daily value is something that you've all seen. You have to pass these around because we have enough for every table. If we have more than enough, we'll put them out there. You've all seen the food label. If they have extra, Carlos, just give it to them. Here, and I'll take one of them. You've all seen here. I got that one over there. You've all looked at the food label, and you know it's in grams. So that means that we Americans don't understand it because we don't work in grams. But it does at least tell you how many grams of carbs, how many grams of fat, how many grams of this, how many grams of that. If your little tag hasn't fallen off, it's aimed right at the sugar, because guess what? Now, in my former life, which I've skipped all of the how I got here and where this passion comes from, all of that's gone from the presentation. But I'll tell you this one thing. I was a registered lobbyist. I'm a city manager by profession and a college professor. And yes, I do have a doctorate degree. Rick seems to find fascination in that. But anyway, the bottom line is that I was a registered lobbyist for the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And we used to wear little tags that showed a particular color in Washington when you go into the buildings that showed that we were a registered lobbyist. And the tag was called a building access card, BAC. But our joke amongst the lobbyists was BAC stood for buy a congressman, of course. Well, the sugar lobby and the soda lobby have bought the Congress, because by giving them a whole sleigh full of gifts, you'll notice what is missing on the food label. Look at the daily values of all the things, and it'll tell you that the fats are such and such a percent of the daily normal allowance. By the way, the daily normal allowance is based on a 2,000 calorie diet for an adult, okay? But if they look on the sugar, there's nothing there. There's nothing there because they bought off the Congress and they said, oh, all drinks, and it's not just sodas, it's the orange juice as well, is not there. It's not there. If it was there, then this Coke would read, this Coke contains 243% of the daily recommended allowance. And obviously, any half-bright person looking at this would say, holy Jesus, 240, oh my, I'm not going to drink that. So that's why it's not there. Now, I've just compressed a lot of discussion in a very short period of time, but I have to do it if I'm going to meet Rick's admonition of trying to stay with us.
So
I usually pass out a thing on salt, because salt. And by the way, credit goes to Joe Mystic's San Diego chapter, because when I got into the food rules, which is where we're going, we have a food rule called the S rule. And after I made that first presentation, all these scientists kept coming up to me and said, "You forgot salt, Carlos. You forgot salt." Salt. It will just, yeah. Thank you, Carlos. I'm hopeless. You forgot salt, because you know the trick of the 7-Elevens, etc., that they give them chips and things like that full of salt to make them thirsty, and then they want to go get a Slurpee or a Coke or something like that, and then that makes it sweet. So then they go and get back and forth, back and forth. Well, it turns out that the San Diego Scientists, I had missed it, and so had my wife. The San Diego Scientists were absolutely correct. Salt belongs on the no list for the S rule, and you'll find out what the S rule is in just a minute. Now, Carlos, and
Aren't you glad you said?
He'll never come again.
Frank's over there, Carlos.
Frank's over here.
He's a captain, so he's used to this.
Hang on.
You in a union, Carlos?
We represent you. He doesn't need the exercise.
Are you a congressman?
Come on, give it up for Carlos.
This is going right on his resume.
Yes, do you guys have a thing that says food rules? Did we pass it?
Yes, the third.
Well, no, it's a different
page
thing.
on the stapled.
Yeah. Well, some are
I got it. Some people, I think, have 2 pages. We got one back to back.
Santa training food.
Okay. Carlos, you hit that side. Madam, would you do the honors again?
Yes, I will.
Yes,
Is that the one that's saying the sugar bowl?
no, this is one you don't have.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now let me explain. Folks, if I'm going to meet my 20 minutes, I'm doing okay. I'm 15 minutes into it. If you look on the back of the agenda one, the very first one, there is a recitation of the food rules, but it's more than that. It goes into my own personal history with my wife, etc., how I used to eat a baked potato. I love baked potatoes. I'd stir the sour cream and the chives and the butter, etc., etc. And my wife said, all that white stuff turns into sugar. And the other thing that it says, and I should come back to that, is it makes reference to 2 books. And I assure you, these are mandatory reading for anybody who wants to be serious about their health. Wheat Belly by Dr. William Davis, and Grain Brain by Dr. Perlmutter. Both very famous men on public television all the time, etc. And I love this illustration, because on the back of his book he says, people say, oh, I eat healthy, I eat whole wheat or whole grain breads. And he says, yeah, gee, that's much better than eating pure white bread. You smoke? Well, if you smoke a unfiltered cigarette, smoking a filtered cigarette would be better than an unfiltered cigarette. And so therefore, the whole grain bread is better than the Wonder Bread, if you will. However, as he points out here, did you know that eating 2 slices of whole wheat bread can increase your blood sugar more than 2 tablespoons of refined sugar? Most people don't know that. So, write down your question, sir. Anyway, on the back side, a lot of rhetoric about how these food rules came about. There's rhetoric about the fact that my wife, who is a foodie, owns a produce market in Carlsbad, her son runs it, is big time in the slow foods movement, etc. How she and a guy named Michael Pollan, who's written many, many books, Omnivores Dilemma is probably the most famous. He wrote a book called Food Rules. It has 83 rules in it. But she sat down with Michael and said, we got Santas who care about kids, but they only have a limited amount of time to get some information across. What can we do? And they came up with 3 food rules. And I've given this to you, and I've given it to you in the form of a proposal to Mr. Irwin, who offered $150 to me at one point in time to help with the weight loss thing. We'll get into that in a minute. And I'm giving him the proposal that says, why doesn't Forbes or the Orange County chapter, one of the others, print up a little card, just like the ones I got earlier here, where I'm told you guys can print cards for $50, you get 1,000 cards? That's unbelievable. So for the $150 you offered me, Mr. Irwin, you can produce 3,000 cards, and I'll be happy to take about 700 of them if you want to underwrite any of my efforts. But let's go through the food rules, and we're going to role play them out. And now you look like a really nice person, therefore I can play with you, right?
Well, that's where you're playing.
And I can tell your name is Char, right? So, the first food rule, they have it on the sheet. The first food goes to the fact that in America, while there is a limited amount of hunger, most children eat out of habit or boredom or something like that. They walk into 7-Eleven, they have nothing else to do, they grab a Cheetos and a Slurpee, but not because they're hungry, just because it's there. And they go into 7-Eleven because they don't want to go home or they want to play, whatever. So the first rule goes, Chair, if you're hungry, eat an apple. Oh, Chair, you say you don't want an apple? You're not interested in eating an apple? Well, Chair, if you're not interested in eating an apple, you're probably not really hungry. And if you wait a little bit, the feeling will pass, okay? But if you do eat an apple, by all means, make sure it's an organic one so you're not eating all that spray. Okay, food rule number 2, treat treats as treats. Now, Chair, there's nothing at all wrong with special occasion foods. And heaven, Christmas Eve has got to be the greatest special occasion. And a cookie on Christmas Eve, what a wonderful special occasion to share. A big chocolate cake on your birthday. Now, there's nobody more important than you. So a big chocolate cake, a special day, special occasion food, that cake, perfectly appropriate. But share, don't make that cookie, that cake, that cinnamon bun, that pizza, or any of those things a daily fare. Save them for a special occasion. And food rule number 3, we've test marketed this with the mothers, and the mothers love it because they can police it, is the S rule. The S rule. And it goes like this, Sheriff. Sheriff, no sodas, no second helpings, no between meal snacks, no sugars or salts, and no sweets, except on days that begin with the letter S. Now, what happens? My youngest daughter, she's not that, she's 40-something, but anyway, she's a medical doctor in San Francisco, and lucky for me, in geriatric medicine, and she has married me up to all these nutritionists at the University of California, San Francisco, which is our medical school, and they say, Richard, you're giving misinformation because to beat an addiction, whether it's a drug addiction or alcohol addiction or a French fry addiction, and it's an addiction. If you want to see how addictive it is, watch the movie Super Size Me, and you'll see just how addictive it is. But they're saying to beat an addiction, you really have to stay off of it for 20 days. And I get back to the
28 days.
28 days. Okay, sure enough. 28. Okay, and I say, but there's no way we can tell a little kid to stay dry for 28 days. But we can, in fact, and they confirm that what I'm doing is you know, the good is always the enemy of the perfect. What I'm doing is good. It may not be perfect, but it's good. And that is if mom can keep that little Cher who's been swilling down 3 Cokes a day and starting to get big as a house, if mom can keep Cher off those Cokes Monday through Friday, the first thing that happens on Saturday when he goes for it doesn't taste the same. Yeah. It loses its ability. And secondly, he's been drilling with, you know, I can't have this, I can't have that on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. Well, by the time he gets to Friday, he just might think, or she might think, well, maybe I'll skip it. You know, maybe they will not go for that thing even on Sunday. Those are the 3 food rules. If you're hungry, eat an apple. If you treat treats as treats, and the S rule, those sodas, no second helpings, no whatever I said, sodas, between meal snacks, added salt, added sugar, sweets, except the days to begin with weather. In the long version, by the way, the one that was on the back, it talks about, I can never pronounce her name, but it's one of my wife's favorite books. It's called Why French Women Don't Get Fat. And it goes into it's not because they don't eat food. They eat, my God, they eat foie gras, goose livers that have been force-fed, all kinds of, they eat cheeses, they eat stuff that should make them as big as a house, but they're not. And the reason is that in that culture, there are no between meal snacks, and the portion sizes are smaller, period end. And that's why they don't get there. Okay, those are the food rules. Now, in the feedback that I'm getting from the other Santas, they say, well, I'm a mall Santa, and my mall manager's not going to give me the time to do that. Well, that's right. So do what you can. If you can only get one food rule out, do it. If you get all three out, fine. By the same token, several of the things, including the one I just had last with the International Brotherhood people, there was a guy that's a puppet show guy. And he said, you've just given me my script for my puppet show. And we have a couple of puppeteers in the San Diego chapter that have the same thing. What do we want you to do? We want you to, first of all, practice the food rules, learn them, and then to the degree you can pass them on, do it. I suspect there's going to be a fair amount of publicity for all of this in the near future. For example, last Monday, they called me before Monday. They had me at 6:30 in the morning. I live in Carlsbad. Had me down in Coronado because Fox TV, and Fox is not my favorite channel. I have to tell you that. I'm a lifelong Republican, but I'm a moderate Republican. The Fox is not my favorite channel. But as I said to my friends, why are you on Fox? And they I said, if you're doing what I'm doing, you got to catch every wave. Yeah. You got to catch every wave that comes along, even if the wave is breaking to the right. Okay? But they had me and a couple other people on in terms of the whole issue of healthy eating. Why did they have me on? Because I was the captain of the overline team, and they took note of that. And I'm going to give you the Coast News article that came out. You all have one. I think I have enough. If not, you can get it shared. And they had me on, and they had this gal on. Her name is Rhonda Martik. She lost 277 pounds. She weighed 457 pounds. She's now 180 pounds. Okay, we're both pointing at it. I used to weigh 280. I'm now below 200. I never dieted. I never counted a calorie. All I did was give up wheat. We don't eat any wheat. None. No crackers, no cookies, no buns on our hamburger. We eat hamburgers. My wife used to say, I'm going to run over. Is that okay, boss?
A little bit. Sure.
Okay.
Go.
But my wife used to say, we're semi-vegetarians. And all of our vegetarian friends would get really pissed off at us because they work so hard to be not vegan, so that's a religion. But the vegetarians would get so mad at us. What do you mean semi-vegetarians? Well, because we would eat whole foods, mostly plants, as many raw as possible, but we'd eat poultry and we'd eat fish. And that's where the semi came in. And finally, Michael Pollan said, call yourself flexitarians. Well, that Michael Pollan, that didn't work. But then, thank God, we had a new revelation in the food world about a year and a half ago, and somebody discovered the caveman. And the caveman, the Paleolithic man, maybe some of you have heard of the paleo diet? Yes. The paleo diet's the new hot diet, and it's the semi-vegetarian diet. It's all the things that the caveman could go whack on the head and butcher like a bird, or catch a fish. Those are cool, or even a cow. We don't eat, we'll get into that later. But he could gather roots, and he could pick stuff off the trees, etc., etc. And there was no agriculture, so there was no wheat. And he did have potato. We don't eat corn, wheat. When I say wheat, I mean wheat. We eat spelt. She makes pies with the ground up almonds. If I did the long form, which I'm not going to do, where are the things? I don't know. Hang on. Where's Carlos when they need him? Here they are. We're okay, Carlos. If I did the long form, I would talk about breads. Now, this is an artisan bakery in Carlsbad, but the first two items is sprouted spelt, and the next one is rye sunflower. There's no wheat. All the rest of them have wheat. Frankly, their wheat's not that bad, but we just don't eat wheat. But if you did, I'd go with this because they use fermented wheat. And just remember the TGIF does not mean thank God it's Friday. It means thank God it's fermented. Anything that you can have that's fermented
Sugars are gone.
is important.
Where's it? Sprouted spelt or swell?
Here, pass them around. Pass them around and look at it. The other thing we do, and it costs us a fortune, is from a bakery up in Paso Robles. This lady, again, was 280 pounds, something like that, had a heart attack, was diabetic, got a hold of her life. None of these people did gastro bypass. They all did it just by giving up these things. And she's now very, very healthy. And so she had Bless Your Heart Baking Company. And the bread that we buy, which looks like sourdough, tastes like sourdough, smells like sourdough, is made with brown and white rice flour, potato starch, cornstarch, Zaxium gum, yeast, sea salt, coconut, kefir, and lemon juice.
Where do you find that?
Huh? It's in Paso Robles. Bless Your Heart Baking in Paso
There's no
Robles.
ways to go for a loaf of bread.
Do you buy
Well, we
it?
have it, Lauren, we have it shipped to us. They ship it frozen, and we get probably 20 loaves, put them in our freezer, take them out, etc. So it's costly, but so is my life. You know, I mean, I am 73. I don't know what you guys think, but I think, and a lot of people tell me, I act more like I'm 53. And that's because, why she married me? Why she married? I mean, this is me. I don't know if you can see that thing, but that's me. I look more like Rush Limbaugh. Why she married me is beyond, I must have been a good talker. But then she wrote me a poem. This is the long version, and I'll stop. In the long version, I said, she wrote me a poem and said, you're obese, diabetic, and on top of that you smoke. You're going to wake up some morning realizing your life is a joke. That was part of the poem. And I looked at that just like an alcoholic who says, oh my God, I better not have another drink. I gave up, and it hurt. I gave up In-N-Out Burger double with cheese. I gave up the great French fries they had at In-N-Out Burger. We have a baked potato once a year as a ceremonial thing. And we go I get the biggest russet potato that's the size of a football, and we cook that sucker up, and I put the sour cream and I stir it around and the chives, etc. And you know what? It doesn't taste that good. I love the skin. I love the skin more than anything else. I think that's about it. I had a couple more things I wanted to show you, but Rick told. Oh yeah, here they are. Oh yes. My wife has a great garden. And she makes the most wonderful, wonderful pasta. Excuse me, wonderful sauce, not pasta. But what do we do for pasta? Well, the pasta that we eat is made from lentils. And it tastes great. But it doesn't have wheat in it. Wheat and the inside of the potatoes. Actually, technically, and she does this occasionally, she'll get a big sack of russet potatoes, bake the whole thing up, cut them open, scoop out all the white stuff, throw it away, and then freeze the little boats, we call them. And so on a day like today, where she's working at the races and I'm up here, where we go back, we probably have some boiled shrimp with an avocado in one of those little boats that we just pull out of the freezer and put in our little electric oven, and there we are. But the stuff we have is made from pasta. Now, Rick, I started by saying this is not about making Santa skinny, and it's not. However, as I got into this, and some of my over-the-line mates kept saying, you know, I'd like to lose weight, but I can't. Well, I had the good fortune of being back in Washington, D.C. I was the only Republican Lyndon Johnson ever appointed to a sub-cabinet post. I ran the Public Housing and Urban Renewal Program of HUD. And Joe Califano, she used to always say, here comes a token Republican, and that's what I was. But we had a bunch of heavy people, and I ran a weight loss contest there, and it worked. So I said to some of my San Diego senators, okay, if I can get 20 guys nationwide to come in to this thing at our expense, our cost, we will run it. Helen and I will put $100 in the pot. It costs $10 to get weighed in. You have to get weighed in August, so you'll have to get weighed in today. Costs you $10, that all goes in the pot, I take no overhead, etc. And the person who loses the greatest gross, which my good professor friend reminds me I should have called the greatest body mass index, except no one can figure out their body mass index, because it's all in kilos, etc. But the bottom line is the great gross gets half the pot, the greatest percentage loss gets the other half. But the best part about it, the way out is a year from now. The best part about it is I will then send everyone at the end of August the name, where they're from. I've decided I'm going to just say where they're from. I'm not going to say they're an Aorbs or a Forbes or an International Brotherhood or a Palm Tree Santa. I've got some of them in there. I've got some of my buddies that used to be Nor Santas. I'm no longer a Nor Santa, but I've met some great people that were Nor Santas. And I used to be a Cherry Hill Santa, and I've met some really great people there. If I had to choose between the two, I'd pick Cherry Hill. It was a hell of a lot more fun. But the bottom line is that we've got people all over. We're going to make our 20. But the best part about it is you'll all know who the others are, and we'll figure out some way, maybe a Facebook page or something, where you can all communicate, share recipes, and do things like that. So, as an incentive, for those who are going to weigh in, anyone that weighs in will put their name in a pot. This was picked this morning at my wife's garden. Eat as much natural. I promise I'll quit. Yeah, eat as much natural as you can. This is called miner's lettuce. It was picked fresh this morning. It's sometimes called Australian spinach. This is called miner's lettuce because this is what the 49ers ate. It grows wild. It'll take over your garden if you're not careful. This is a weed. If you are from Persia, which is now Iran, or Turkey, Iraq, excuse me, or Turkey or something like that, you know what purslane is. Purslane is a weed, but it is the most tasty, and if Helen was here, she would rattle off the antioxidants and the this and that. This has it, but it has, Google it, P-U-R-S-L-A-N-E, right on your paper. This isn't, one of the things has a green zucchini, the other one has a white zucchini. Helen has 7 different types of, no, 5 different, she has 7 different types of squashes going. She has 5 different types of eggplants. This is Japanese eggplant. I don't know, she can tell you why she doesn't like green cucumbers. She likes the blonde cucumbers because they have more something, just like she doesn't, the apples we eat are all the green ones, Granny Smith I think they're called, because they have less sugar in it. You know, now we're splitting hairs, and an apple should be an apple, it should be an apple to me, but she said, no, a little less, there's some fresh, you know, just picked this morning, they don't taste like hockey pucks like you get at Ralph's or Vaughn's, etc. And there's supposed to be, maybe it fell out. There's fresh oregano, and there's supposed to be
What is this?
this one's a bonus. This is a passion fruit. And if you've never had a passion, you don't eat the outside, you eat the inside. It's like caviar. And it's, again, loaded with all the things it's supposed to be loaded with, but you put it in your yogurt. We have, our breakfast is a blended drink, etc. And I thought I had white sage.
That's right.
I do. And you just told me cut it, so that's it. White sage. Put this in your water, your pitcher of water. One leaf will change the texture of the whole thing, and it'll taste great. This is the stuff the Indians roll up into like a cigar thing, and they light it, and they wave it around, and it makes the bad spirits go away, etc. Anybody that signs up will be in a raffle for this. The last is the Upo, which is indigenous to Spain and Italy, but of course they were conquerors, and so now it's the best. It's the best and most often used squash in the Philippines. I'll tell you, whoever wins it, how to prepare it. It's absolutely delicious, and unlike most squashes, it's solid all the way through, no seeds. And unbelievable. Sauteed in olive oil, not butter, etc. I'm done.
Okay, questions? Lauren.
I've got one on, well, actually 2. I'll say buffalo meat, and number 2 is S for stevia.
Well, buffalo meat is good in the sense that it has less marbling, so therefore you get fat. But fat's got a bad rap. Nothing wrong with fat. There's nothing wrong with fat. And frankly, we make our own yogurt. We use whole milk. We do not use skim milk or low-fat milk. the whole low-fat thing is part of what caused the obesity crisis, because the fat gives you taste, and they compensated for the lack of taste because it was low fat by putting more sugar and more salt in. And, so, yes, sir.
You missed one.
Well, oh God, I'm sure I did.
High fructose corn syrup.
Yes, horrible.
As ever. Have you ever watched Dr. Oz?
Yeah, of course I do.
Have you ever seen him pour the thing out and it just
Yeah,
worse than the last one?
Well, when I said sugars are bad, I certainly meant to include, if I didn't say it specifically, high fructose corn. The high fructose corn sugar thing, my wife's a token Democrat in the family, I'm a lifelong Republican. I was president of Brigham Young University's Young Republicans. I mean, you don't get more Republican than that. When I think about what we used to believe, it's just incredible. But my wife is so bummed out because Michelle Obama, who my wife thinks is great, has been bought off by the high fructose corn syrup lobby because she had this whole garden thing and eat right, etc. And they said, look, your husband's got, people hate his medical plan, he's got one bad rap coming after him, and next, you want another bad rap from us, or would you like several millions of dollars? And she said, okay, I'll take the millions of dollars. So she changed her whole initiative to a thing called Move On. There's nothing wrong with exercise, but you'll never exercise your way out of obesity. It's diet, 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 and maybe a little exercise. Diet, diet. My good friend here managed to injure himself trying to exercise his way out of it, and I sent him a I thought clearly worded email which he thought was insulting, which I wasn't, and he finally realized on his own, without me telling him, that I wasn't being insulting, but it was diet, 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 and exercise. Diet, 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 exercise. Diet, diet, diet. It's like a dance step. Yeah.
Dr. Oz. Better when you diet and
Excuse me.
Dr. Oz,
Excuse me, but
Hang on.
exercise is a part of every good food plan, and I'm talking about a diet. I'm talking about changing your behavior.
That's
That's
exactly
what
right.
you have to do. Now, your food rules, are those for the parents too?
Well-
Because if the parents do it, then the kids
will do it.
Look, I can't come to a bunch of fellow colleague senators and say, go preach to the parents, because first of all, that's not your audience. Your audience is the kids. Of course you want the parents to hear it. Of course you want and the S rule, if you had to pick one, the S rule is the most powerful one, because that's the one the mom can enforce.
So why isn't exercise part of your food plan?
Because it's diet, 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 and exercise.
No, it's food plan, exercise, and lots of liquid. If you do those three things, you will lose weight.
Sure, but well, first of all, my wife and Michael concluded that we're pushing the envelope, trying to even get 3 across. I mean, if there was a 4th, it would be eat that orange, don't drink it. Okay?
That's part of the food plan.
Yeah, and he's talking about changing your life.
And they're not all here anymore.
But I've gone way over my time. But I'd love to weigh anybody in who would like to weigh in, and I'll be happy to stay and talk to anyone about what you can eat, or all of the other things that are on the agenda. I've listed everything that is on there in a kind of a, I'm not going to talk about this, it's on there. So if you want to talk about...
Sorry, Lauren. Sorry, Ted. I'm going to have to cut this off. This is running a little longer. I will tell you, though, that as part of the program that Santa Richard is working out, we will all be in touch with each other. We're going to share contact information for everybody who wants to participate in the program, whether it is your goal to lose a certain amount of weight, or whether you're just in it to learn a healthier lifestyle, or whether you're just joining the program to help support those who are trying to save their own lives. We are a fraternal organization, and I'm sure that every one of you, even those of you lucky enough to enjoy good health and the DNA which doesn't leave you struggling with obesity the way some of us do, I'm sure that we'll get a lot of support from each other. And during the communications that we will share with each other over the next year, there will be plenty of give and take. There will be ample opportunity to share variant opinions, linked to various reports that may or may not disagree with each other. But the primary goal of this has already worked. The problem that we are having in this country is shielded behind ignorance and hidden from the truth And the fact that we are talking about it today, the fact that we have actually broached the subject with one another is, as my sainted grandpa used to say, a job well begun is half done. So we have at least gotten each other's attention on it. And I will tell you that when Santa Richard first mentioned it to me months ago, I was at that time receiving death threats from my doctor. She said I had passed 320 pounds, guys. And she said that we were going to sew something shut. It's your mouth or your belly or whatever it's going to take. If you can't get a grip on yourself, we are going to sew something shut. So about the same time, I ran into Dr. Richard Santa, and he said he's going to do this for a lot of Santas nationwide. And basically it's about the kids more than anything else. And he's absolutely right. No matter what your opinion is on the ratio of diet, the importance of diet versus exercise, the bottom line is something ain't working in this country. We are finding ourselves a prey species to a predator industry. And if we don't decide amongst each other, with each other and amongst ourselves, if we don't decide to take a stand in our own lives, then we really don't have any moral standing to advise anyone else. And if the obesity epidemic is going to stop at all, it is not going to stop because greedy politicians suddenly grow a conscience or corporations suddenly grow a soul. It's just not going to happen. Sugar is too cheap, it is too addictive, and you can make so much money off of it, you can buy yourself some politicians. So I'm in, okay? I will tell you this, though, that if anybody in this organization, in the Orange County chapter, if anybody in the Orange County chapter wants to join his program, I would entertain a motion as the president of the chapter that we dedicate $50 in chapter funds to sponsor half of the first 10 people who want to join the program. Great. It's $10 buy-in to the pot. If you want to join, if you want to weigh in today, dig deep, give them $5 of your own money. The chapter will sponsor the other $5 for you if we can get this motion passed, of course. And I was going to suggest that we sponsor, I thought it was the Sustainable Santa was the name of it. But anyway, I was going to urge the chapter to support the nationwide effort with a $100 contribution. Santa Richard has specifically asked us today that we help him with his printing expenses, so.
No, I asked you to do your own Forbes flyer that has the food rules on one side and then whatever else you get.
Okay, well, we buy these from Wheaties, so I would be willing to entertain a motion or at least to stimulate some discussion among the members that we dedicate $50 to sponsoring members who want to participate in the year-long program, or that we also dedicate $60 to purchase 1,000 postcards that Santa Richard can use in his nationwide. And of course, we can use them too. So anyway, at this point, I will leave. Well, I'll tell you what, you'll be here at the end of the meeting. You guys can.
One thing, my wife will kill me if I don't say it, because she said, tell them, look them in the eye and say, all virgins are not alike. Some of them misrepresent themselves. You have to have, just like the bread, a good thing, and she's decided that Temecula Olive Oil Company meets her specifications, and they happen to have an office in Seal Beach. So if you're looking for an olive oil company, we don't get a penny from this, but Helen, being in the food business, knows who is really good. I have 4 of these. You can copy the addresses down.
Thank you for stipulating that was olive oil you were talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, sure.
Because I was raised a Baptist and I understand they are all alike. Yes, sir. Yeah, Bob.
I move that the Orange County chapter donate $50 towards Sustainable Santa.
The initiative is called Healthy Happy Santa, by the way.
Thank you. As modified.
It's the same program with different title?
Yeah. The confusion is, I am Sustainable Santa. We have federally trademarked the name.
The mistake was mine.
Rick and I send emails that miss each other.
All right.
Healthy Happy Santa is what I'm calling it.
Okay, Bob,
I'm moving that we regulate $50 if in fact we get 5 Santas that want
up to $50, okay.
go up, sign up for the program, that we will donate $5 each of their $10 to join the program.
Okay, it's been moved that the Orange County chapter sponsor up to $50, $5 for each member who wants to join the program. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
We have a second. Is all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Thank you very much.
How about your postcard?
Okay. There was my second idea, and I will leave it to a motion that may or may not come, Senator Richard, because we are democratic around here. The second motion that I would be willing to entertain at this moment would be an offer to purchase or to spend $60 to help him with his printing costs during this program, to buy 1,000 postcards to be used during this program.
Well, it's not mine. It would be your chapter.
Yes, open the floor to discussion.
If it's $60 for one, if you get 5,000, you get a whole bunch more. You want 700 of them.
Well, I'll take whatever I can get.
Okay, but if figure out the economies of scale, I'd pass them out when I'm seeing kids.
There you go. That's the whole point.
Yeah, if the members all want 100 of them to pass out to kids, then, you know.
I can't do this alone. I cannot do this without you guys.
I'm just saying that I think, you know,
Okay, I'll tell you what, let's do it this way. That was some good input from the floor. So I tell you what, we will we'll bank the donations that have already been approved by the chapter. We will do some research and find out what economies of scale we can invoke before the next meeting. At the next meeting, we will be able to let you guys know if we have any better options for supporting him with the postcards and stuff, and we'll entertain a motion and vote at that time on that. Okay, then.
Since I'm a member of Forbes, can I say it's not supporting him? It's almost more important that this man have 50 cards and this man have 50 cards, etc. I can't be the only Johnny Appleseed out there doing this. Everyone who has a chance. You know, there's some mall Santas that their manager probably won't let them pass anything out.
Okay, I accept the editorial comment. Every time I said him, I meant the program that he's bringing to our attention today. We support him, and if we consider you two one and the same, it's no offense to either of you, I assure you. Okay, that brings to a conclusion the old business section. I'm going to make a very brief report on the reunion committee, or on behalf of the reunion planning committee, so we can wrap this up. The reunion planning committee has been hard at work. We've had a number of meetings over the last few months. Almost every member of the planning committee has been able to attend one of those meetings, and we've had some very successful ones. We have most of the fine details worked out. We have the pricing tiers worked out. We are planning at this point to meet our goal of launching registrations over the Labor Day weekend. So hopefully the planning committee will be meeting again this coming week, this coming Friday. We should have, by that time, we should have final contracts from the park. We should have, we've already got most of the final contracts worked out and everything else. So looks like we're on track to meet our goal of launching registrations on Labor Day. I do want to bring to your attention two purchases that we got Santa Scott and Debbie picked up for us this week. This year we have two postcards that we're going to use to solicit registrations and sponsor vendor and sponsor registrations and donations. We have two slightly different cards. We have plenty of both, and we're going to distribute them both. This card in particular is the Santa Reunion Weekend. They're almost identical on the front, and I'll give a nickel to anybody to point out the difference. But on the back, you'll see that there is a slight difference in the print. The one that's printed in red at the top is for the vendor registrations. You probably won't need, most of you will not need too many of these. These are specifically used to provide opportunity to register for the vendor fair. On the back, it's got some specific information about the pricing of their various opportunity levels, the vendor fair, the yearbook registrations, and things like that. We are going to distribute a number of these to each of the chapters, and any member that wants some of them, who thinks they may know a vendor who might be willing to participate or even buy an ad in the yearbook, That's what these cards are for, so you don't have to explain everything. You just hand them one of these cards and tell them you're with Forbes and that you would appreciate their support. This is the one that most of you are going to find handy. We are really trying to amp up our collection of gift cards and baskets this year. We want more raffle prizes even than we had last year, and last year was the best year we've had. But now that we've got the program pretty much ironed out, we're going to spread it out from the planning committee, who gathered most of the major prizes last year, and of course some came from the chapters as well. Each of the chapters donated a major basket. But we're going to ask every member of Forbes and every guest of the Santa Reunion this year to take some of these cards with them. And when you go to your favorite restaurant, when you go to your favorite shop, when you go to get your hair did or your nails done or whatever you guys do, I would like you guys to have some of these in your purse, so that you can ask that vendor, during your conversation, you can say, I'm with the Fraternal Order of Real Bearded Santas. We sponsor the oldest and largest Real Bearded Santa event in the world. Or just tell them about the reunion. And tell them that every vendor has an opportunity to become a sponsor. And we support the sponsors and vendors who support us. So, on the back of this card, it shows the various levels of opportunity that the sponsor can participate at. We have a reunion sponsor, the North Pole Honor Roll. Diva, why don't you start handing some of those cards out? Just hand them out at the tables right there. We have, if they want to, if you can get somebody to contribute a $100 gift or any combination that adds up to $100, then they're in that box. Scott, there we go. Scott, if you could help her too. We're looking for the reunion weekend in particular, the sponsored cards in particular. But anybody that donates $100 can join the North Pole Honor Roll, and they get a free advertisement in the Santa Yearbook. And the next level down from that is the $50 level, which we're calling the Rappin' Rafflers. And that is a $50 gift basket. And we're asking anybody who wants to contribute to the raffle to begin at the $50 level, if at all possible. And that will be in the form of a gift basket. Even if it's gift cards, I think we can make a basket out of that. But the final level at the bottom, the reunion sponsor, $25 level, we're calling those card players, because we're assuming that those are going to be gift cards, and they're either going to be a $25 gift card or two 10s or something like that. But $25 is the minimum we're asking to become a sponsor, $50 for the gift basket level, and $100 for the North Pole Honor Roll. And even beyond that, they have 4 opportunities to advertise in our Santa Yearbook. So please take these cards with you, have them with you when you're out and about, and anytime you're at your favorite restaurant, when you're paying your bill, ask the manager, do you guys ever give gift cards out as donations to community events? We're a nonprofit organization, and we have our annual raffle that goes to support community services. So, there will be a lot more information forthcoming about the reunion. Everybody in this room will have an opportunity to volunteer this year. Bob Devin couldn't be here today, but Bob Devin is this year's volunteer coordinator. We have pretty much assumed at this point that everybody who attends the reunion would be willing to do a little bit of something to help us pull it off. So we're going to look for an opportunity to give everybody that wants to help something to do this year. Hey, Shar.
Real quick, the gift cards, if anybody wants to get them, they get really good deals at Costco. I think you can get a $75 gift card, and it's worth $100.
Oh, that's it.
So there's a ton of different kinds of off dinners, baseball games,
Yes.
everything there.
Movies.
That's a great point. Shar points out that Costco and I believe Sam's Club also does the same thing. They offer volume discounts on gift cards. This is exactly what Diva and I did last year. I think we spent $70 and got $100 worth of prizes to give away, so we did it twice. You know, we had 2 major baskets last year. Okay, Bob, do you have anything else to add about the reunion? Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to bring something to the attention of the chapter? Okay, well, it is my habit and custom to close the meeting before we take care of the raffle, so, I'm sorry, we did skip the sunshine report because Diva was just looking so spectacular, I got distracted.
Duh.
She puts a little bling on and I just lose my track.
Okay, Sunshine.
All right, so we have some birthdays in August. Santa James Campbell.
Jim Campbell.
Happy birthday!
Wait, hold it, go
We
ahead.
have Kathy Perone.
Yay!
We have Cookie Claus.
Yay!
Was there anybody else out there? What's your name again?
Gary Holland.
Oh, sorry, Gary, you are on here. I just didn't know your name, sorry. I try to remember everybody now, I will never forget Gary, right? And last and least, not least, Santa Rick Irwin.
C'est moi! C'est moi! C'est moi!
So if you will join me in singing Happy Birthday.
All right, push play.
Want to do this one? Wait.
To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody and me.
Santa's and Mrs. Claus.
Happy birthday to you. All right.
And the rest of the sunshine report is? Yes, it's shiny.
Partly cloudy with a chance of rain. Okay, that's it for, if there's nothing else that would like to be brought before the membership, I will.
Lauren,
Go ahead, Lauren.
got a hat here I bought from Christie's of England, out of London, and I've worn it twice, but it's too small for me. My head has gotten bigger.
Would you please stop complimenting
In spite of all our efforts, his head just keeps getting bigger.
Bob wants it. I paid $89 for it, I'll sell it for $50.
All right,
Very pretty.
Got the badge.
very nice.
Start the auction at $50.
Okay, I am going to, okay, meeting adjourned. Attend the raffle.
I second.
Carlos, you have been hanging up your
Yay!
Come on now. Come on, buddy.
This is an easy job, Carlos.
Okay, so today, my loveliest is handsome, actually. Carlos picked the first ticket here, but you have 50-50, and it literally is 50. So we collected $100 in the 50-50 day. Is there anybody that want to buy a ticket that didn't get a chance here? All right. And we have some lovely parting gifts here too. You'll get to come up and select. I have 3 hot sauces here. One is a Santa. I couldn't find another one. There's 2 that are snowmen. There's a candy dish. There's a little rabbits that are in little Christmas gear here. There's a little Santa Mrs. Claus, and I gotta say, it's difficult to find Mrs. Claus stuff out there, so I would take that. I did not get in the raffle, so you all have a chance.
Wow!
What a sport! You mean the Coke?
Who would have thought the biggest applause of the day would be Diva saying I'm not playing?
Then there's a little house here that I put a candle inside of it. It's a little battery operated LED candle. The top comes off. There's a Santa and reindeer on top. The light shines in it like it's got a little fireplace going. And Santa Joe Mystics offered these to the raffle. There are 3. I'm raffling them off separately, so we have more items to raffle. If that's all right with y'all.
So everybody gets a ticket, gets some.
So we're going to try and do that. Yes. So. Carlos, pick my number. I already told you I'm not in there. Thank you. Now I gotta figure out where I put the money. Found it. This is for 50-50, so that everybody has a chance, except me. 897.
I got it.
I knew you would, Santa Ted. 848.
That's not my number, Diva.
Yeah! Santa Gary Hahn. See, I told you I remember his name.
That's making up for it.
You got $50, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yeehaw! All right, check that for me, Carlos. Make sure those match, okay? All right, you're done for today. Thank you, unless you... Wow!
I ever won a raffle.
Yeah, that's the first Santa that said wow to me, too. Wow. alphabet. 897. It's still weird here. 896.
Come on.
Yeehaw!